I've spent the last year investigating strange happenings, testing rumors and myths, and exploring every nook and cranny of Africa. In a continent known to harbor some of the world's most deadly species, I've encountered a wide variety, many of them dangerous. But the question that remains is, what is Africa's most dangerous? When people and animals collide, things are never simple. In this wildlife-human conflict, I'm often called in to seek out the truth, to find out what's really happening on the front line. My name is Ivan Carter, hunter, conservationist, and wildlife investigator. Africa, the dark continent, known for its incredible variety of flora and fauna. It's also known for having some of the world's most deadly animals. For the past year, I've been traveling its boundaries, investigating stories, rumors, and myths. I've had many animal encounters, some with terrifying reputations. But what truly is Africa's most dangerous animal? I'll be using my experiences and travels over the past year to find out once and for all. We'll start at the very southernmost tip of the continent, where a creature sporting an impressive 3-foot horn calls home.
You know, this kind of thick bush is perfect rhino habitat. They've got a reputation of being one of the most bad-tempered animals on the African continent. Weighing in at 6,000 pounds, if a rhino tries to get you, if a rhino gets hold of you, it's certainly got the ability to create serious injury or even death. But are they Africa's most dangerous?
There are two varieties of rhinos, the white and the black. The black rhino is the smaller of the two species, but still weighs in at an impressive 3,000 pounds. Its horn, made from keratin, is equally impressive and is easily sharp enough to impale a human. While investigating the rhino horn trade this past year, I came a little too close for comfort to one of these incredible animals.
So we've got this rhino just lying down in front of us here. You know, rhinos have got this reputation of being really, really cantankerous. They've got the reputation of being one of the most dangerous animals. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to go in here. We're going to try and see how close we can get to him, and then probably alert him to the fact that we're here and just see what his reaction is.
It's not long before the rhino rises with the setting sun. Perhaps a touch hastily, I picked the closest tree to climb. It's not as high as I would like, but there are a few other options.
I'm gonna make a noise like another rhino coming into his territory. He'll probably come straight in. I'm not quite high enough here, but hopefully this will all go okay.
Black rhinos are highly territorial and will ruthlessly defend their territory from invaders. I barely make any noises at all when the rhino comes in. It's too late to turn back now. My name is Ivan Carter. I'm revisiting past investigations in an attempt to determine what truly is Africa's most dangerous animal. As part of a test during my investigation into the rhino horn trade, I came face to face with a charging black rhino.
And that right there is what earns these animals a reputation of being so cantankerous. But as you can see, he's just asserting his authority. As soon as he feels like he's got that authority and he realizes we're human, he's out of here. That right there is a black rhino.
It's decidedly clear that black rhinos are indeed quite dangerous. Humans stand no chance in a direct confrontation. But it's also clear that with a little forethought and a nearby tree, one can negate most of the danger. But what about white rhinos? They're double the size of their black counterparts, weighing in at up to 6,000 pounds. And they can charge at a top speed of 30 miles an hour, fast enough to catch even the quickest of humans. While they don't have the reputation of being overly aggressive, are they perhaps more dangerous? My good friend and master tracker, Livy, and I journeyed out to the open plains of Zululand Rhino Reserve to find out. Up ahead, there's a white rhino hidden somewhere in the bush. Livy's keen eyes pick it up through the branches. It's an adult female white rhino, and it's unaware of our presence. So far.
This is very difficult at this time of the day. The wind is starting to move around. I just hope the wind doesn't go in that direction. Because if she smells us, she's gone and we don't get this opportunity again.
The rhino's body language seems docile. Nevertheless, Livy and I are in a tricky situation. If the rhino charges, there'll be no time to escape to a tree. We have our answer.
What's very interesting is with a black rhino, the first thing they do when they hear something is come and check it out, and pretty aggressively as well. With a white rhino, as soon as they hear something, they get nervous. And as you've seen, they look around and then just move away.
From the evidence, it's clear that while rhinos, particularly black rhinos, can be aggressive, it's usually a case of mistaken identity. Once it's clear that you're not another rhino, the aggressiveness immediately dissipates. Dangerous? Yes. Most dangerous? Definitely not. However, there's another animal, much larger than even the rhino, which certainly has a shot at that title.
The largest animal that walks the face of the planet, but also an animal that has the reputation of being particularly docile. But push them to the edge and their immense strength, they can literally rip you limb from limb. Indeed, these animals are responsible for over 500 deaths on the continent of Africa every single year. But with their docile nature, are they really Africa's most dangerous?
Standing over 13 feet high and weighing up to 15,000 pounds, adult elephants have little to fear from nearly any adversary. Despite their massive stature, they're deceptively quick and can easily outrun a human. Once again, Livy is at my side during an investigation within the open plains of southern Africa. We're tracking an old bull elephant that entered the area from Mozambique. Following on the path he had taken, we've come face to face with a different elephant, a young male.
It's amazing, these elephant bulls, as they stand here and they just watch. He's just trying to smell us, just trying to see us. Our bull's track goes right past this guy. He's coming on exactly the same path that our bull's gone out on.
Elephants are curious by nature, and being the largest land animal on the planet, almost any encounter with another creature they treat from a position of authority. My name is Ivan Carter. I'm on a mission to find out what truly is Africa's most dangerous animal. And I may be just about to find out.
Whew, that's impressive. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sorry to worry you, old boy. Sorry to disturb you. Just want to get past you. What an incredible animal. You can see his tail is already relaxed. He's only about 80 yards and already he's relaxed. He started feeding again. You know, very often what'll happen like that is an elephant will come in. What he's trying to do is just show some muscle. He's trying to look as big as possible. He shows his muscle. He really doesn't want to, run over you, but he wants you to think that he's going to. And then there's this kind of moment of confrontation. That's the point where if you run away, that might be the last run you do. If all of that goes well, they back off and go back to their daily business.
The evidence from this confrontation suggests that with an adult bull in the wide open plains, it is indeed possible to survive an encounter with a charging elephant. But what about in thicker bush, where vision is obscured and unintentional close proximity is common? Surely elephants become more dangerous then. While investigating the Mopani forests of Kruger National Park, I inadvertently discovered the answer.
Oh, here's one of the Ascaris.
Ascari means soldier or guard, and is used to refer to young elephant bulls, the teenagers of the elephant world.
I just want to get through these guys gently and calmly.
Often the eyes and the ears of the old bulls, they can be hot-headed and unpredictable.
Okay, you just relax, and you stay right there. Okay, now he looks like he's moving off. You can tell by the angle of his tail. He's had enough of this. If he moves quietly in that direction, then we've really just got this guy to contend with. And all we've got to do is just wait here to get past. It's okay. Just want to get past you, big guy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. At this point, really important to look big and firm. They're looking for any sign of weakness, that little confrontation. That's the point where if you back down from this, he may follow through, but in that kind of little confrontation, I'll keep my eyes on him all the time. We've also got to keep an eye on that guy. He's moved away pretending he's going, but he's still very aware. Just you relax. These little guys, they just... Look, he's gonna throw sand. There we go. Sand.
Like human teenagers, the Ascaris are unsure of their role.
He has no interest in feeding on what he's breaking there. It's what we call displacement behavior. He's just got to have something to do because he's a little embarrassed.
They're full of bluff, and at the same time, they're curious as to what I am.
Just his body language now, he's swishing his tail. Shows that he really doesn't care that I'm here. The only time he cares is when I want to get past him to see the big one.
These are wild elephants, animals that could easily outrun and crush me if they wanted to. And yet, even though it's not advisable to get this close, it's possible to call their bluff. Elephants are definitely not Africa's most dangerous. If fear alone was the sole indicator for an animal's danger rating, then this next animal, a predator that man has feared for thousands of years, would take first prize.
Weighing in at over 500 pounds, the African lion is probably the animal that instills the most fear in the human populations of Africa. With a reputation as a man-eater, is it actually Africa's most dangerous?
Sporting razor-sharp claws up to 5 inches long, and powerful jaws capable of crushing bone, lions are iconic to the extreme and are revered for their impressive nature. They're also killed by man in defense of livestock. During an investigation into the illegal lion poisonings of Maasai land, I came uncomfortably close to learning just how dangerous these powerful hunters really are.
So one of the questions is, what does it really take to get lions off a cow? If you've got lions on a kill and they're feeding aggressively on that kill, what's happening is they're pushing the lions off these kills, they're putting poison on the kills, and when the lions come back, they're obviously eating the poison. What I'm going to do is, just like a Maasai would do, is I'm going to walk in on this kill. I'm going to carry a stick with me. That's probably all a Maasai would have is his spear, and we'll just see what the reaction is.
Within moments of my approach, the lions become skittish, and most of them rush off immediately.
Actually, when you really look at it, they just leave.
One, however, looks far more confident.
Probably the most mature of them. Come on, come, big guy.
I move a bit
Come on,
closer,
come on.
but he seems undeterred.
Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Move on, move on. Come, big guy. Move on, move on. Come on, he's probably the most hungry. He's certainly not the oldest. Come on, big guy. Move. Move, move.
But eventually he moves on like the rest of his pride.
And so all I would need to do now, sprinkle some poison on this kill. I'm not going to turn my back on them for a second. They're all surrounding me here in the bush. I'd put my poison on this kill, and then I'd start to back off. You never want to turn your back on a lion, particularly in this scenario where they're hungry. They're going to want to come back to their kill. But literally with a stick, I've actually pretty peacefully managed to leave the kill. And I'm thinking that as soon as I back off, as soon as they see that I'm getting out of their way, they're going to come back and carry on feeding.
Sure enough, as soon as I leave the carcass, the lions come back to continue feeding.
I'm not saying it's not hair-raising, but it's certainly pretty easy. Had I put a virulent poison on this kill, within minutes, literally within minutes, the whole pride would be dead.
It seems ironic that such a fearsome predator can be so easily intimidated by a human with a stick. While this seems to contradict the stories I've heard from the Maasai herders, each of their encounters happened in the dead of night, rather than in the day, as is the case here. A question remains. Is it more difficult to drive lions off a carcass during their natural hunting hours? I wait until dusk and return after the pride has forgotten my presence to find out. Once again, the majority of the pride runs off as soon as I make my approach. But this time the elder female is far more protective.
Off you go. Off you go. Off you go.
She's posturing. It's evident that her nocturnal predator instincts have kicked in.
Off you go. She's getting brave. Off you go.
But warily, she eventually backs off.
Off you go. Come on. Off you go.
Once again, however, a younger male stands his ground.
Off you go. Come on. Come, guys. Come on. Off you go. Off you go. Come on.
He remains unfazed, and as I get closer, the older females begin to take note.
Come on. Off you go. Come on. Come on. Come on, little guy.
I'm able to drive away the young lion.
Come on. Come on.
But the matriarchs do not look happy.
Off you go. Come on. Hey, 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 hey!
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm revisiting my adventures over the past year in an attempt to determine what is Africa's most dangerous animal. While conducting a test involving cattle-killing lions, I found myself in a delicate situation.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Off you go. Come on. Come on. Hey, 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 hey! Yay! As soon as it starts to get dark, you're looking at a completely different animal here. You can see when I first got out of the vehicle in an earlier situation, everybody disappeared. You're talking about an animal that during the daytime is actually very regressive to humans. They'll get out of your way. It's starting to get late in the evening, and the lions are starting to think about hunting, and it's a completely different animal, very much more aggressive, very much more defensive, and very much less frightened of people. And that's why these attacks happen at night.
There's no question that lions are incredibly fearsome and indeed dangerous animals. And yet, after investigating further into the cattle killings in Maasai land, it was clear that the true victim was the lions. As fearsome as they are, they're no match for human ingenuity. The next animal may not be as fearsome looking as a lion, but its temper is world-renowned. Living in hundreds of waterways scattered through the continent, this animal is widely feared.
Hippos are one of the most common big animals in Africa. Everywhere that there's a really big waterway that can support them, you're going to find hippos there. They're also one of the most territorial. But is that reputation of aggression really deserved?
Hippopotamus amphibius, Standing only 5 feet tall but weighing over 4,000 pounds, the hippo's squat body supports a massive head with razor-sharp incisor teeth that grow to over a foot in length. It's estimated that almost 3,000 people are killed by hippos every year. Is this the most dangerous animal in Africa? Or is this number of deaths merely a product of circumstance? During a previous investigation, I needed to interact with some hippos to see if they really are as aggressive as their reputation suggests. I traveled to Limpopo in northern South Africa, to the SANWild Trust, where they have 2 mature hippo bulls that are fully habituated, but living a completely natural life.
A fisherman would be walking into the water. He starts ignoring his surroundings. This is going to be interesting. A little tough for me to stay in the mindset of a fisherman when I'm walking up to an animal that I know has got the potential to bite a human being in half. You can see by the way his ears are, he's fully aware of the fact that I'm in the water right now. I'm just going to get around the front of him.
A hippo is very fast in this element, way faster than I could ever be, leaving me no chance at all to get away if he decides I'm a threat.
Hey, my big guy. Oh my goodness, check at this. Hey, big guy. I can't even believe this experience. In Africa, this is the animal that's supposed to take more human lives than any single other big game animal. And here I am, in his environment, in the same environment that this species allegedly kills hundreds of people each year, and he's completely relaxed with me being here.
Even in his own territory, the hippo did not see me as a threat. To entice them out of the water and to encourage them to approach us, I'm given a bucket of horse cubes.
Just look at the size of these guys.
Come, Aldi. Go.
Hello, boys. This is unbelievable. These are hippos that were actually rescued from a zoo, and it gives us a great opportunity to really get up close to these guys. Look at the sharpness of these teeth. You can see why they can do so much damage. They've got such a fearsome reputation, and yet, having been brought up around people, you can see just how gentle these guys are. These are 2 big hippo bulls. These guys aren't out there as animals that are looking at humans as a food source in any way, trying to find people to harm. Their aggressiveness is a product of their circumstance, not a product of their nature.
To test this theory, I traveled to a nearby waterway. There are no tame hippos here.
So out here in these grassy flats, there's a lot of hippos, but there's also a fair number of fishermen. What we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to find a group of these hippos, paddle up to them myself. And what I want to do is test what a hippo's reaction is to the human element here.
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm on a mission to find out what animal is Africa's most dangerous, and I'm revisiting the past year's investigations in an attempt to find out. With my dugout in the water, I begin my approach.
If one of these things comes up underneath me or decides to try and get the boat, there is no way I'm moving out of here very quickly. So we just have to hope that that's not going to happen. With a bit of luck, we'll get to see what their reactions are. Here they are right here.
Now, within 20 feet of the group, I pause to assess the situation.
22 of them over there. Over here, we've got at least 7 or 8. These animals are totally in their element, and I'm totally out of mine. See if I can get a little further over here. I'm all on the edge of this little clearing in front of me.
With a group this large, I'd never notice if a stray hippo slipped out of sight. And surrounded by grass as thick as this, a hippo could easily sneak up on me. As I approach, the hippos become noticeably more agitated, but they seem to be holding their ground. I dare not get closer.
wave my paddle, and they show signs of agitation, but no aggression whatsoever.
I observe no violent behavior from these animals.
Based on that little slightly nerve-wracking experiment, these things are not the aggressive man-killing beasts that the statistics would have you believe. It's very obvious that a hippo has to be very provoked to actually attack a dugout canoe.
I don't doubt that aggressive hippos exist, that dangerous hippos exist. But from what I've observed, the hippo is not the man-killing beast its reputation suggests. There is one animal, however, that is not only a man-killer, but indeed a man-eater. I came into contact with this reptilian predator while investigating human attacks and disappearances along the Zambezi River of Mozambique.
You know, just a couple of 100 yards upstream of this little back eddy, there's a whole village of people living. By virtue of the fact that people need water to survive, there's often a lot of villages along the edge of these watercourses that are the perfect crocodile habitat. Crocodiles attack several thousand people every year in Africa, killing some and maiming others. Does that very fact make the Nile crocodile the most dangerous animal in Africa?
Crocodilus niloticus, reaching over 16 feet in length and weighing over 2,000 pounds, these predators prefer to lie in ambush, waiting for unsuspecting prey to wander near. The overgrown banks of the Zambezi River make perfect hiding spots. I've come to this particular village along the Zambezi to meet a man who has a horrifying story. His name is Sauri, and I find him in his home.
So, wakaita sei maoko yenu?
He was out fishing all night, and he came back to the village where he was cleaning the fish. As he went to wash the fish, a crocodile came and grabbed his arm holding the fish.
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm on a mission to find out what animal is Africa's most dangerous, and I'm revisiting the past year's investigations in an attempt to find out.
So, wakaita sei maoko yenu?
He was out fishing all night, and he came back to the village where he was cleaning the fish. As he went to wash the fish, a crocodile came and grabbed his arm holding the fish, dragged him under the water. All he saw was just the green of the water and darkness, and he thought there's no chance. His friends came, and luckily they grabbed his legs and started pulling in the other direction. The crocodile spun at that point, broke the bone, and with the people pulling back on him, the crocodile ripped his arm off. He was able to put his head up and finally breathe. And he was pulled up on shore.
About 3 years.
For 3 years, he was too scared to go into the water because of this. And so he would just stay on the bank and count the fish and help the fish traders. But now these days, he goes back onto the water. As one looks at this kind of scenario, we're just so blessed to have choice. Some people have no choices. And in spite of the fact that a crocodile nearly dragged him to his death, he still goes out on the water to fish because that's what he's got to do.
Sauri's story is inspiring and telling. The people here use the waterways for their livelihood, and yet the rivers harbor an ever-present danger. Sauri's injury matches other croc attack injuries seen during my investigation, and is consistent with almost every survivor's story. They always had help nearby to pull him from danger. In search of answers, I traveled to a croc farm managed by the Pentolfi family to conduct a test.
We've just spoken to a guy that actually lost his arm. Lost his arm because his friends pulled in one direction and the croc pulled in the other. If a croc were to bite your hand and you had to simply just pull away from it, what does that take?
The trick will be to conduct the experiment without becoming the croc's next meal.
I'm going to start off with just one of these small crocs and we'll see if we can get it into their mouth before any of the big guys come in.
They see the meat and react instantly, fighting for the first bite.
Now this is a small crocodile. This is all I can do to pull this croc out of the water. And it's only about 8 foot. That was only an 8-foot crocodile. And just an 8-foot crocodile, it was all I could do to pull him out of the water. And even then, I only managed to pull him a couple of feet. You can see his teeth marks. He's absolutely ripped into this chunk of meat. And then he started to roll, and exactly as that fisherman described, when there was pressure, the crocodile rolled, broke the bone of his arm, and then pulled his arm off. We've now got about a 12 or 13-foot crocodile. To be honest, just looking at those jaws like that, it's not without a little bit of trepidation that we try this next experiment. I'm going to try and throw it to this big guy and see if there's any chance at all that I can hold him. I just don't want that rope to catch around my leg. That rope around my leg will probably mean not just a chunk of meat, but me as well. You ready? Here we go.
Sometimes it's not the strongest that gets the first bite, but rather the quickest. We quickly retrieve the meat from our little saboteur and try again.
Ready?
The giant croc has learned from his mistake and he grabs the meat without hesitation.
No!
My name is Ivan Carter. I'm reliving my last year of investigations in an attempt to find out once and for all what animal is Africa's most dangerous. I toss the meat to the crocodiles and am quickly met with opposition.
No way! No way!
The crocodile is shockingly powerful and he drags me straight towards a snapping frenzy.
There's absolutely no way. Okay. Absolutely no way. Until that crocodile shifted his grip, and possibly that's how these people are escaping. When a crocodile shifts his grip, they manage to get their arm or their leg out of its mouth. That crocodile was physically pulling me down the bank. It was all I could do to try and stop it. No way.
During my investigation on the Zambezi River, I saw many injuries, met with many survivors, and even captured one of these ancient predators. There's no widely agreed upon estimate for the number of people crocodiles are responsible for killing each year, but it's thought to be at least 1,000. These are not unfortunate encounters where humans accidentally wander into an animal's territory. Crocodiles see humans as a food source, and that is what makes crocodiles Africa's most dangerous. Or at least it would, if not for one last contestant. This is an animal that can be found in large numbers throughout the African continent, and indeed throughout the globe. It's a physically weak and unremarkable species, but what it lacks in physical prowess, it makes up for in sheer ingenuity. This animal is man. Over this past year, there was perhaps no greater example of the human's ability to cause destruction than what I witnessed while on the trail of meat poachers in the forests of Mozambique. Martin, a captured member of a poacher gang, led me to one of his gang's trap stashes. 3 large and illegal leg hold traps. I'm curious to see how exactly his gang was setting these, and I ask him to show us.
They'll like to put a trap on every single one of these pathways on the way in. So there's a path here, an animal path that leads to this water. This is the only water for a while, which is probably why we had to walk for quite a way. Just another loathsome thing about these traps. I mean, the animals have got to drink.
Martin continues the elaborate process of hiding the trap, from not just eyesight, but from all senses that the wary animals might employ. Now he's going to go and get some leaves from just around the local area. It's got to be leaves from right here because otherwise the animals will smell that there's something different. And then he's going to close this thing up here. Once set, the 40-pound metal machine is completely hidden, undetectable from sight or scent, and ready for an unsuspecting animal to come down the path.
What he's done is he's also put a big stick either side of the trap, and that serves two purposes. One, for a human being, a human will be able to see the stick and they'll be able to know that there's something here and they shouldn't walk. But secondly, an animal that's walking along is probably likely to try and step over that stick. So the animal walks along here, 1 footstep here, steps over the stick into the trap. So you've got an animal that walks along like this and then steps right in here.
It's deadly ingenuity like this that has made humans the most formidable predator on Earth. Nowhere was this more pertinent during the last year than in the Kruger National Park of South Africa, where I met with Park Ranger Richard Sowry. As one of the section rangers here in Kruger, Richard leads his anti-poaching operatives under SAN Parks.
The vultures have been here. A couple of days ago, this was rhinos walking around. Now it's just the scene of a massacre.
The dictionary says that a massacre is an indiscriminate and brutal slaughter. In this case, I think the term fits the bill. A fully grown female rhino lies dead and stiff-legged in the heat. Her swollen features suggest she's been dead for a few days. Clearly, the hyenas have been feeding off her during the night. It's a massacre, in every sense of the word.
This is really the savior of Africa, is its wildlife. It is the one resource that the rest of the world does not have to the extent with which Africa has it. And if it's squandered like this, it's not going to do anyone any good.
This rhino was poached, killed not by sustainable hunting or by natural causes, but by poachers, people who value their own greed above the survival of an entire species. Every day, an average of 4 rhinos are killed in this park. It's an unsustainable number, and the men and women who guard the park boundaries need help. And that is perhaps our saving grace. Human beings are capable of horrible things, but also of great things. While investigating the rhino war at Zululand Rhino Reserve, I witnessed the good side of human capability. I received word that a black rhino in the area had been found dead. And what's worse, we'd heard that it was a nursing mother. There was an abandoned calf out there somewhere, hidden and terrified. I arrived at the scene where I met Karen Holmes, manager of the reserve, and wildlife veterinarian Mike Toft. Mike prepares his darts and equipment, and as he boards the helicopter, the ground support crew follow in a vehicle. The helicopter arrives. Mike hangs out of the chopper, his dart gun primed and ready. The baby is terrified. We need to get it out into the open so Mike can get a clean shot with the dart gun. Any minute wasted is a minute of stress the rhino must endure. I point out its location to the chopper.
Careful, careful.
Carter's War would like to thank the following people and organizations. Without their help, this program would not be possible.
My name is Ivan Carter. I've revisited my investigations over the past year and have discovered the most dangerous animal in Africa, humans. But though we are dangerous, we're also capable of great good. The baby charges out from cover.
Careful, careful. The little rhino was so scared he was just hunkering under a bush. He couldn't be seen by the helicopter. We had to push him out, and he's so aggressive, he's so stressed. The helicopter's hovering over him here. I'm hoping they're going to get a dart in.
The ground crew is behind us, running to get to the scene. We get word that the dart is in.
They're just hovering over him. I don't want to get in there and really stress them any more than necessary. As soon as it goes down, they'll let us know and we can go in.
The dart begins showing its effects. The first step is to get a shirt over its eyes to calm it, something this baby rhino desperately needs. The stakes are high. With an animal this small, the powerful drug M99 needs to be used sparingly and accurately. Too little will have no effect, and too much will quickly kill her. Finally secure and stabilized, we prepare to transport her to the vehicle.
Yes, indeed. Humans are the most dangerous animals in Africa. But the right humans are the solution.
Across the continent of Africa, the wildlife is under pressure, more pressure than ever before. I've met some exceptional conservationists through the season, and more than anything, it's clear that great conservation in Africa is a delicate balance, taking into account the needs of the people on the ground, as well as the needs of the wildlife. We need to strive to give the wildlife greater value than a poacher would ever place. Indeed, when I think of conservation, I think of the many people that I've met on the front line, with hearts of lions and fire in their eyes. With such a force on the front line, if we can truly give them our support, there is great hope. If you would like to learn more about this episode, or if you'd like to support these people on the front line, please go to carterswar.com.